Jeszcze rządzi, oni chcieli się oberwać do głowy. To jest było królestwo Sycylii. Pewnie.
Venga, vamos.
Sì, un campeggio poco fuori le Cogliane.
Cioè, sfondare, non tanto sfondare, ma tanto andare avanti in questo lavoro. E comunque avere un lavoro di conoscenza.
Tempo di com'era?
A parte che loro sono gli unici che fanno questo studio e come
mangiare, che fa uno sconto del 100%.
C'è il divino davanti alle bottiglie, c'è il divino.
Dai.
Like changing. One way going down, one way going down.
Vedi, si legge come la moto di pesare.
Sì, mi hanno detto fuori. Ah, oggi vai a giocare? Sì, oggi vai a giocare.
Così mi pesare.
Qua battono dall'inizio del secolo fino al 1960 più dopo.
عش جديدة نسترونتي طلع فوق ما حنطلع فوق Certo.
Te cantoniere, conoscere, anche il cantoniere fa lì. Te stai da minge per strada.
Ah, te hol kellett olvasnia? Gondolod a Ford-Montagny?
Nem szabad, hát.
Teatro Greco, Taormina, Sicily. No power, no plugs, no wires. What a perfect place to connect. Because with a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can put on quite a show wirelessly from your own private amphitheater. Intel Centrino mobile technology.
Zo is voorbij, en wat is eigenlijk zo oud en de bal.
Oh yeah, and me. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, push that. Hello? Okay. Arrivederci. Alle croste. Andiamo per le croste.
Not the Titanic, is it?
it. He is filming it, yeah. Still everyone getting out of the boat. Do you want to leave your bag? Can you get it? That's that stairs.
You might be right, but you might get some different. Thing is, Sicily is just good. But very big. No, that's quite clear. No, I'm not doing it. They're good, huh? I don't know much about them. And the fish? There's loads of them. If you look to your left, there's another load. Loads of them. Look at these little ones. And then, if you walk just over there, look at that. See, all over it. Everywhere you look, there's fish. You can follow them all the way around. I haven't actually. Yeah, if you take them, I'll have to go through it. Yeah, I wondered if it was a private, villa or something. Thank you, Maureen.
Se non andava come ci stava
una giornata, poi ritorno alla sera non fare ah sì, non
verso la meta. Era mezza.
Questo è quello che ti consigliano anche gli avvocati. Non c'è un nome di
Yeah.
So he could do the trip to Bardelina, to Stromboli.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because he'd been here before, but he hadn't made it out to the island.
All right.
He must have been about our age, I suppose, if not older.
Older. He had
Well, he
big
looked
grey
older.
whiskers.
But he asked his wife to come, and she didn't want to come, so he's been traipsing around Europe for the last 3 weeks.
All right.
He doesn't know quite when he's going to go home.
All right. There they go.
But I thought, that's quite good, really.
In some ways, it feels better being the first one, like. Right. So that's a negative line.
I haven't been in one.
It's quite a long ferry crossing, isn't it?
What, the Messina?
No,
The one we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 1 hour 40 to get to the first one.
Yeah, I think that'd be.
No, she said, strangely enough, she said we had an email this week.
I wouldn't mind getting it maybe a little bit.
I bet when you get home, it'll be the first thing you'll be home and have a look at the video of what we've done on holiday. Got lost.
Smile for the camera, Nigel. Yeah. I think you've broken it.
Oh yeah, good, yeah. Use your legs.
Allora, è un grandissimo onore, un grandissimo piacere avere con noi Judi Dench, gli facciamo mettere la cuffietta per la traduzione. Una grandissima, scusate ma se no poi devono ritradurre, gli interpreti mi hanno anche sgridato che parlo troppo veloce, quindi devo rallentare. È un grandissimo onore per noi avere qui con noi Dame Judi Dench. Riceverà il premio stasera e passerà il film di Charles Dance, Ladies in Lavender. Aprirei subito alle domande perché poi Dame Dench non può stare tantissimo con noi, quindi vi pregherei di partire subito con le domande, grazie. Allora Simonetta, gli date un microfono?
Forse dico una sciocchezza, ma mi pare che Dench esordisce nella regia con questo film.
Sì.
Perché una signora così importante accetta un esordiente, sia pure attore, famoso?
I knew him a little as an actor, and as in the case with every single thing I've ever been asked to do, the person who is involved, the director, the actors, it's not necessarily the script that is the first thing that I go for. And the chance of working with Charles on the first film he directed was very exciting, and I wanted to take that chance, which he was taking anyway. Washed up on the shore, he is still alive, and it is really the effect that has on the family and them both, and their relationship with each other, and his relationship with both of them.
C'era prima il signore lì in fondo, se mi ha portato un microfono, e poi dopo una domanda qui, grazie.
Hi, I'd like to know a little bit about your collaboration with the German actor Daniel Brühl. What type of a guy is he to work with? Did you know him before? Had you had a chance to see Goodbye Lenin, for example?
No, I didn't know anything about Daniel. I knew that what he had done, but I hadn't had a chance to see him as I worked right up to the film and then started filming. He's an extraordinary young man, and I think with a huge future in front of him. Not only does he look incredibly wonderful on film, but he also is full of integrity, and he not only had to master the language, which he could speak, of course, a little, but he also had to learn all the bowing of a violin, and that was, he worked every single day. There were days when we could sit and play cards because we weren't good, but Daniel was always having to learn to play the violin. and he never complained, and he was up very late at night doing it, and every single morning. So, you know, any spare time, it was used for him to work.
I have seen the film and absolutely loved it. And in it there's an implicit closeness between you and Maggie Smith. Can you talk a bit about working with Maggie Smith, as you have done so several times?
I'm glad you liked it, that's very good to hear. Maggie and I go back a long, long time to the Old Vic in 1958. That's when we worked together first. And we were in several plays together, and we shared a dressing room. We weren't particularly close friends then. And then the next time we worked, there was a long pause, and the next time we worked together was on A Room with a View. When we were in Italy, in Florence, and yes, in Florence most of the time, all the time in fact I was. And then we became quite good friends, and we renewed our acquaintanceship. Then the next time we worked together was on Tea with Mussolini, when it was about, I suppose, a year after her husband had died, and we had a lot of time together, she and I, which we spent together just walking about Rome, walking about Florence, San Gimignano, and we got to know each other frightfully well, by which time, at the end of the film, my husband had become ill, and the next time we worked together was last year on A Breath of Life, which is The Breath of Life, which is a play by David Hare, which was in the theatre, and then I was at the stage that she was when we did Tea with Mussolini, my husband having died a year before, and her husband having died a year before. And in a way, I don't mean it to sound sentimental, but in a way it made a great bond between us. It's like a path that somebody's trodden before you, and so we're very close friends. I'm sorry she's not here for these few days, or this one day I have. And so, yes, you are, I asked the question. So working, you know, you form a kind of shorthand when you know somebody well. You know, it's much more pleasurable working together, because there are many things you don't need to say, because the other person senses that may be what you're going to do, or that may be what you're going to slightly change, or so you play off each other. So of course, that's not to say that if you work with somebody for the first time, that doesn't happen. Sometimes, rarely, but sometimes does. But it's much more pleasurable to know somebody so well. That you get a chance all the time to get it better, change it, or maybe sometimes not get it better, sometimes get it worse, and somebody has to come and say, don't do that. But nevertheless, you get more of a chance, whereas I have no control over a film. I don't know what's left, you know, on the cutting room floor, or not, simply not being shown, or the way it's edited. So the control that you have in the theatre is very attractive to me. And I did several films, but it wasn't till I did a film about Queen Victoria called Mrs. Brown, which was done for television. It was done in 30 days for television. And Harvey Weinstein saw that film and then decided it should be then a movie. And so, having been to America and Canada for 6 months in 1958 with the OVIC, and having had this wonderful love affair with America and Canada, I had decided that I couldn't possibly go back there. It was revisiting old ground. I thought it would never come up to expectations. And in actual fact, after 38 years of being away, I did go back. And then a lot of people said to me, apart from Mrs. Brown and playing M in 007, have you done anything else? So I thought that's 38 years of classical theatre flown straight past me out of the window. And since then, I've been asked to do a lot of films, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be. It is totally new to me. It's totally new to me. I learn something every time. And I always come to it thinking, oh, this is the, I know how to do this, but well, I never do know how to do it. I never know. So I just watch people all the time. I suppose by the time I get to 80, maybe I'll have learnt a bit more. Hopefully there'll be a lot of parts for very old people on Zimmer frames. But there, how lucky to suddenly have a film career. And how lucky, you know, to be here, to do with a film. It's very, very unusual.
Could you tell us something about doing animation? Because I mean, in a short while it's going to be Home on the Range. And in line that, I have to think about something Jeremy Irons said during doing the voice of Scar. He said,
yes.
You lose all your power because, I mean, you're limited to your voice. So how do you feel about doing voiceovers?
It's rather solitary. You know, you don't get to act with anybody else. You are in a booth on your own, and in a lot of the cases of Home on the Range, which I've just done, which has taken about 5 years, I never realised that it took so long to do a cartoon, a Disney cartoon. 5 years it takes to put together. But it is because you're called to this one room. They came over many times from Los Angeles to be there, but on the other time you were through, on a link to them. And all the time being filmed, and somebody said to me, Mrs. Calloway is a cow in Home on the Range. They said, can you see yourself in it? Well, I suppose, because they film you all the time, I must look like her, or she must look like me. I can't see that, but still. So you you're in this little booth, and you have to do a line like, oh, there goes Slim. And you have to say, they said, would you mind doing that? Ho, there goes Slim. Ho, there goes Slim. Ho, there goes Slim. You do it as many times as you possibly can until you're absolutely exhausted. Then you think, well, we've done that bit. And then 2 weeks later, you're back to do the same thing. They say, we just want this line again. Ho, there goes Slim. So you don't know where you are. So it's Jeremy sounds as if he knows exactly what he's doing as Scar. Exactly. But I think it's something that, I think Tom Hanks said he was in a studio doing No about, I don't know, 500 times in different ways. So the more you can do that, I mean, it's a great stretching exercise for you. What else?
Dici che cartone era?
This one is called Home on the Range. It's about 3 cows who go on an adventure.
Right, okay, my turn? Someone's speaking. Considering that your film career started relatively late, were you astonished to get the Oscar for, is it, my God, Shakespeare in Love?
Yes.
Yes. Because, you're not on screen all that much.
No.
How much has it changed your career? And second question, if I can squeeze one in. You said you learned something from every film. What would you say you learned from Ladies in Lavender?
Well, I suppose from Ladies in Lavender, because it was, what I was amazed to learn in Ladies in Lavender was that Charles, who had not made a film before, was incredibly precise, but he was like somebody who'd been making films for a very long time. Precise, easy, not rigid, he never seemed not to know what he wanted. He seemed very calm about it, and he was under a lot of pressure. There were a lot of things, a lot of difficult things that we had to achieve in a short time, and in a very difficult terrain, because Cornwall was not, easy. What was the first part of your question? Has it? Yes. Yes, I was, people think you know if you win an Oscar. I can assure you don't know. I can assure you, you don't know. And it was a very short, after Mrs. Brown, which was directed by John Madden, I enjoyed working with him so much. I said, if there is ever a film that you're doing that has a very small part of somebody walking across the back with a dog, or leaning against a post, or looking on, or something like that, I would be delighted to do it. I just had the most wonderful time with him. So he rang me eventually and said, there is a very small part, he said. It's important, but small, and indeed it was. It was also very, very, very cumbersome. But that's another story. So I was, and I suppose through that, I get a lot of film offers. And what it has enabled me to do is, at the very beginning of my career, somebody once said that I would never play anything but a soubrette. And I looked up what a soubrette was. It's a kind of maid's parts and supporting, and I thought, well, I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to do that. So the most different thing that I can possibly play after what I've just done is, to me, very, very attractive. So that it's, you know, it's the most, like suddenly doing the cartoon after doing The Breath of Life, which was an intense play about two women, and suddenly then being able to be a cow, and just the voiceover of a cow. So that's what attracts me, very much indeed. I use 007, so and then suddenly I thought, oh yes, and much more glamorous than saying James Bond, 007, I should remember that. So I was asked to do that, and it was a complete departure, being a woman playing M, after a lot of actors, one of which I admire very much indeed, Bernard Lee. He was the very first television I ever did with him. People said it was because there was a head of MI5, was Stella Rivington, but in actual fact the script was written before that, before she was appointed. So that was a huge responsibility, which I don't think I realised so much at the time. I didn't realise that it would be so noticed, the fact that suddenly she had become a woman. But my husband was very keen that I should be a Bond girl, so there I am. So that's very nice to do. I've done 4 of those and do another next spring. And then Vin Diesel asked if I would be in the Chronicles of Riddick. I was extremely surprised to be a galactic ambassador. Well, I haven't been one of those yet. So I thought that I would have a go at that. And so I did. And it was absolutely thrilling. Wonderful. Sorry? How did he? He just had to ask me.
I heard he filled your dressing room with flowers.
He did. And Maggie's, though, too. So there might be a story behind that. Yes, he did. He came over and saw the first night of The Breath of Life. He was prevented from coming backstage. I don't know why. I didn't know he'd been there until he told me later. And then I had a lot of flowers from him. And then I said yes. Yes, of course I would do it. Different again, something totally different. The Bond movies take up a lot of stages, but it's usually people are away abroad, you know, on a lot of them filming abroad. But this one was just completely vast. It took up, I don't know how many stages. In Vancouver we did it. A character in Z Cars, which was the origin of that person Terry in that quartet of plays. People remember them as 3, but they were 4. And see it from everybody's point of view, you know. Wonderful writing, brilliant. Just brilliant writing, I thought. Brilliant. I would quite like to see them now. It's a long time since it was done, and a long time since I saw them. They were shown all in one go at the British Film Institute, but I didn't get to see them.
I have a recording.
Sorry?
I have a recording.
Have them recorded?
I have them on recording.
Have you? Well, I'll get a recording one of these days.
Brilliant.
And I would like to look back. I'm not good at seeing films I've just done, but I can see things later in retrospect when I'm not so mesmerised, you know, like a stoat to a rabbit, watching, thinking, why on earth did I make that particular choice? Or where did that bit go? Or all those bits. But, so I think it was. I think it won lots of awards. And oddly and wrongly, I think, didn't win an award for Christopher Morahan, who directed it. Grateful for the fact that one is able to do a job that you really love and run to do. I have never got over that. I mean, are we 1% in the world, 2% in the world? I don't know. People who actually are doing the thing that they really, really are committed to. That's the first thing. And I didn't just start off as being an actor. I started off as being a designer. A theatre designer is what I trained to be. And suddenly, by some extraordinary road to Damascus, I saw something at Stratford-on-Avon in the 50s, the design of which was absolutely supreme. And I thought, I will never, that's the kind of designer I would want to be, that's the kind of designer I could never be. And because my brother, who is older than me and has always ever wanted to be an actor, I just rather half-heartedly went for that. And so, and then was employed at the job I wanted to do. The thing that makes me excited is the fact, as I came back to the beginning, is being asked by Charles to do something, working with Maggie. I couldn't do a one-woman show. I've been asked a lot of times to do that, and I couldn't do that. I wouldn't know how to get ready. If I didn't have anybody to bounce off, I wouldn't know how to get ready. And also, you know, once you're up there and you're droning on, there's nobody to interrupt or, you know. The nearest we got to it was the two-hander with Maggie. And the only advantage in it is that you never had to learn the cues, because when she stopped speaking, I knew it was my turn, or likewise, you know, the other way around. And it's the people, it's being a part of a company. It's telling a story, you know. It's an author who writes something, who then it's the director who organises how you do it, and then it's you who then give it to the audience. It's that process. I find irresistible. And of course, much more in the theatre than on film, though a lot of films now are done in a sequence, and that makes it easier. Not always, of course, it can't be, but it makes it slightly easier. But that's what I love, and I love the fact that actors never really lose touch. You know, you form incredible friendships, and then if you're lucky, you all come together again. Not that particular group, but nevertheless, you know, you can act with certain people again, and you carry that on. It's the thing of being a company that I like best, actually. Does that answer that question?
We'll set aside 2 weeks another time.
Yes, yes.
On the subject, me again, sorry. On the subject of that appetite, I wonder if what directors you particularly, are there any particular film directors or screen actors that you really, really want to work with?
Oh, lots and lots and lots of screen. I want to work with Jack Nicholson, of course, before it's too late. There's a lot of people I want to work with, but we had an extraordinary and exciting time working with Franco Zeffirelli, who I'd worked with at the Ovic. His first production was Romeo and Juliet, which I played Juliet for him at the Ovic in 1960. And then we hadn't worked together till we did Tea with Mussolini. And then we just found, you know, he's one of kind of sparring person. I'm always having terrible rows with him, and he with me. But we have a very good friendship, and it's very exciting. When he was directing on stage, you know, he would tell you what to do, and then out of the corner of your eye, you would see him right here, doing it much better than you, and doing, you know. So you just watch him, copy Franco. So that was enormous fun, I mean, there are so many. John Madden, as I say, who directed Mrs. Brown and then Shakespeare in Love. It is that thing of coming back to what we said. It is that thing of that there is a script, but there's also a kind of flexibility in that script. It's wonderful, that, but it's tricky if you work with somebody who actually wants it to be rigorously what it is on the page. You know, I find quite tricky. So, I mean, there are many, many actors I mean, too many to even start to say. But it was exciting to work with Vin Diesel. And like I have a big audience of young men from about 11 to 13 who are 007 fans, I'm hoping with Chronicles of Riddick to have a lot of young men. The age is going up, you see, between 17 and perhaps 20 now. Perhaps I'll do something else. And they'll be from 50 to 60. 60 to 70, actually.
Allora, possiamo fare l'ultima domanda e poi chiudiamo la conferenza.
Just picking up from what you were saying, had you heard of Vin Diesel before he came and put all those flowers in your room? What did you make of him? Because he seems such a strange figure. Bit of a beefcake.
Well, pretty dishy beefcake. He's absolutely charming. Charming person. I had heard of him because I'd seen Pitch Black. And then, much later, I heard it was a prequel to The Chronicles of Riddick. I didn't know that then. And he's just like an actor. He's just like, you know, one of all of us. Funny, sense of humour. Doesn't take himself too seriously. It's the best bit. It's when you take the job seriously and yourself not too seriously. It's an irresistible mixture. But if you take yourself too seriously, out the window, for me. But he was very, very professional. He was like, well, in a way, you know, Billy Connolly, being a comic. I was absolutely, one shouldn't be surprised, but, you know, suddenly he was so professional and so rigorous and to work. He was just, you know, it was just not like somebody who was a stand-up comic who had never done something like this before. He was just thrilling to work. And Vin. It's the lack of sense of humour I would be worried about. Not.
Questa credo che sia veramente una cosa che condividiamo in molti, mi sembra fondamentale. Ringrazierei moltissimo Judi Dench perché ha dato una dimostrazione di grande senso dell'umorismo e di sincerità. È stato un grande piacere avere con noi. Grazie.
Vai!
Con te vanno! No, come gli aspettavo! C'è una specie di bicchiere. Oddio, si facci indossata! Mi sei contenti? Non mi fai la testa! Così!
You're just about to delete Il sabato so che non lavorano, quindi io abito a Catania, quindi la settimana lavoro e posso andare a questo non è un problema. Io ho parlato, comunque ho anche pensato che l'entità è abbastanza notevole, ho pensato di usare l'assicurazione, però lui siccome non mi ha saputo dire l'entità, quindi non ho neanche pensato alla possibilità di fare l'assicurazione, quindi prima voglio sapere l'entità di Italia, insomma ci sentiamo da noi e le donne
Buonasera a tutti, benvenuti al Teatro Greco. Cominciamo la seconda serata di Taormina Film Fest 2004. Ho il piacere di presentare anche il nostro interprete, Matteo Crea. Ciao Matteo. Allora, signore e signori, stamattina sono cominciate già le lezioni di cinema. Con lui a consegnare questo premio sarà un notissimo regista australiano, anche lui premiato a Taormina con Taormina Art Award. Ha diretto capolavori quali, tra gli altri, Picnic at Hanging Rock, The Truman Show, Witness, Gallipoli, The Dead Poets Society, and Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Weir. Buonasera. Good evening. Peter Weir. Yes, we are really very happy that you are with us. Voglio anche dire che Peter Weir terrà la lezione di cinema sul film, da lui naturalmente diretto, The Year of Living Dangerously, mercoledì mattina.
So there's one more thing you should know about this program, is that on Wednesday morning, Peter Weir's film, the film that he directed in 1982, the year of Living Dangerously, will be screened, and there will be a masterclass in cinema held by himself.
Mr. Weir, your wonderful film, Picnic at Hanging Rock, who attracted international attention to you and to Australian cinema, was presented here in Taormina. How do you remember? What are your memories of that premiere?
Allora, Picnic at Hanging Rock fu presentato proprio qui a Taormina, e quindi volevo chiedere a Peter qual è il suo ricordo di quell'esperienza qui a Taormina.
Well, I would brings to mind Guglielmo Biraghi, the then director of Taormina, as Felicia mentioned last night. He was my champion, and he did a beautiful job. He translated the movie and was a champion throughout Italy.
Io credo di dovere molto del successo di questo film in Italia al fatto che Biraghi, che era l'allora direttore del Festival di Taormina e che Felice stesso ha citato e ricordato ieri sera, organizzò e si occupò lui stesso della meravigliosa traduzione dei sottotitoli di questo film, traduzione che contribuì senz'altro al successo del film in Italia.
I mean, we're very much in the hands in this country of the dubber, the translation, because of no subtitles. So to have a poet doing your translation like Biraghi was a gift.
Senz'altro, soprattutto in un paese come l'Italia, dove la traduzione dei film e il successivo doppiaggio hanno un ruolo importantissimo, il lavoro di Biraghi, la sua opera quasi di poeta, ha avuto un ruolo importantissimo.
We will have opportunity to watch once more Picnic at Hanging Rock, but it will be a new, we can say, director's cut version, isn't it?
Yes, I think it is the director's cut, and I think I share with the Coen brothers, if I'm not wrong, a director's cut that is shorter than the original.
In realtà la domanda era, avremo la possibilità qui a Taormina di rivedere Picnic at Hanging Rock, però nella versione dei director's cut, quindi la versione tagliata dal regista. La risposta è sì, è vero, si tratta della versione tagliata dal regista, e io credo di condividere un qualcosa di unico con i fratelli Coen, cioè la versione con i tagli del regista è più breve rispetto alla versione originale.
Thank you very much, Peter Weir. Now is the time to award an excellent actress. E chiedo per portare il premio Maria Dolores Diegues. Brava, bravissima, bellissima, ecco il premio.
Maria Dolores Diegues will be presenting the award.
E adesso, signore e signori, il Taormina Art Award for Cinematic Excellence va a una grande attrice britannica che ha vinto già tanti premi per le sue interpretazioni cinematografiche e teatrali.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Taormina Art Award for Cinematic Excellence goes to a world-known British actress who's also an Oscar Prize winner and who has been awarded so many times.
Ha vinto il premio Oscar per il ruolo di Regina Elisabetta nel Shakespeare in Love, ma la ricordiamo nel film come A Room with a View, Mrs. Brown, Shipping News, Iris and Tea with Mussolini, diretto da Franco Zeffirelli. Signore e signori, I'm honored to introduce Dame Judi Dench.
little did I think when I was asked by Charles Dance to do Ladies in Lavender that the premiere would be in Taormina and that my breath would be taken away by such an exquisite place. I've heard about it for a very long time, as a friend of mine came here as a child, but I've never been myself, and I just hope that this is the beginning of a love affair with Taormina, that I'll come back for a holiday.
Allora, quando mi è stato detto che la prima mondiale di questo film sarebbe stata proprio qui a Taormina, sapevo che era un posto stupendo. In realtà c'era un amico, un'amica che già erano venuti e mi avevano detto appunto che si trattava di un posto meraviglioso, ma quando sono arrivata qui sono rimasta letteralmente senza fiato e quindi non posso fare altro che esprimere la mia immensa felicità perché il film viene presentato qui in anteprima mondiale.
Thank you very much for this award. It means a great deal to me. Thank you.
Grazie, grazie mille.
Intanto approfitto, Graciela.
Vogliamo dare anche 2 minuti ai fotografi.
Sì.
Judi Dench.
E intanto approfitto per comunicare che c'è un contributo filmato in onore di Judi Dench. Voi restate lì, vi spostate, lo vedrete fra un istante. Partiamo col contributo, grazie.
So there's a contribution, a filmed contribution to celebrate Judi Dench here.
All right, what's so important that I had to postpone my nap?
Would you like some chocolate cake? Grandmother. Bonjour.
May I, would you like a cup of...
No, thank you. I'm just here to do a portrait. Mm-hmm.
Whose?
Yours, actually. Is the light okay where she's sitting?
I have something for you, boy. I've been carrying it around since your last birthday. It's a book of poetry.
Oh. Thank you.
You don't like poetry?
Oh, no. Of course. I do. Yes.
Neither do I. It's not that kind of poetry. The Queen of England does not attend exhibitions of public lewdness, so something is out of joint. Come here, Master Kent. Let me look at you. Yes, the illusion is remarkable. And your error, Mr. Tilney, is easily forgiven. But I know something of a woman in a man's profession. Yes, by God, I do know about that. That is enough from you, Master Kent. If only Lord Wessex were here. Yes, Ma'am.
Your Majesty.
There was a wager, I remember, as to whether a play could show the very truth and nature of love. I think you lost it today. You were an eager boy. Did you like the play? I liked it when she stabbed herself, Your Majesty.
Signore e signori, in omaggio a Dame Judi Dench. Shakespeare in Love by John Madden and Adesso è arrivato il momento di presentare un altro ruolo che lei ha recitato nel film di apertura di questo festival, Ladies in Lavender.
So the time has come to talk about another role that you have played recently in the film that will be screened tonight, in Ladies in Lavender.
So let me introduce and invite on the stage the director of the film, Charles Dance.
Invitiamo sul palco Charles Dance, che è il regista del film.
Good evening. I would like to invite also the producers, Nick Powell and Peter Rogers.
Invitiamo anche i produttori.
Ladies in Lavender, this is the world premiere of this film. This is also your first film as a director. How do you feel?
Come ti senti, visto che è la prima mondiale di questo film e anche il tuo debutto come regista?
Buonasera. Regretfully, as my knowledge of your beautiful language really extends not much further than ordering a meal and perhaps making an improper suggestion, if you'll forgive me, I will continue in English.
Quindi, visto che la mia conoscenza dell'italiano, che peraltro è una lingua stupenda, non va al di là dell'ordinare un pasto o del fare qualche proposta un po' piccante, continuerò in inglese.
So, in inglese. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to be here. I'm doubly honored to be here in such exalted company. As you know, Ladies in Lavender is my first film as a director. I sincerely hope it's not my last. And I hope very much that you enjoy it.
Beh, innanzitutto spero che il film vi piaccia, ma spero soprattutto che questo sia sì il mio primo film come regista, ma non il mio ultimo film come regista.
I know that you will enjoy the performances of the cast, who are, in anyone's language, a dream team.
Beh, innanzitutto sono sicuro che il film vi piacerà perché gli attori, il cast sono di eccezione, sono quello che in inglese chiameremo un dream team, una squadra che tutti sognano.
For a virgin director to have Dame Judi Dench and Dame Maggie Smith heading his cast is, well, it's certainly beyond my wildest dreams.
Senz'altro avere due dame dell'impero britannico, che sono Judi Dench e Maggie Smith, è qualcosa che andava ben al di là dei miei sogni e delle mie aspettative.
And it is true to say that without the presence of those two ladies, this film would not have been made.
E possiamo dire sinceramente che senza la presenza di queste due grandi signore questo film non avrebbe potuto nascere, non si sarebbe potuto fare.
I owe them an enormous amount, not least most of their meagre fee, which they generously agreed to defer to enable the film to be completed.
E senz'altro questo contributo che ho avuto da loro è anche, diciamo, è ancora più bello proprio per il fatto che quello che era il loro compenso è stato devoluto alla conclusione del film stesso, alla produzione del film stesso.
Regretfully, Maggie Smith is unable to be here this evening. She did intend coming, but she simply cannot be here. And on her behalf, I extend her abject apologies and hope that you will accept them.
Beh, per quanto riguarda Maggie Smith, avrei voluto che anche lei fosse qui con noi, ma purtroppo non è potuta venire per causa di forza maggiore. Però a suo nome vi presento le sue scuse e vi prego di avere la bontà di accettarle.
However, the incomparable, adorable Judi is here. And she is universally adored and admired and has been for some considerable time. I, like a lot of people, have run out of superlatives to describe Judi, and I dare to borrow from Oscar Hammerstein to say that there is nothing like a dame, nothing in the world, nothing I could name that is anything like a dame.
Beh, innanzitutto qui abbiamo la possibilità di avere, ho portato qui con me anche Judi Dench, che io potrei definire come insuperabile, incomparabile, adorabile, che tutti al mondo adorano già da tantissimo tempo, ma in realtà nessuno ha ormai dei superlativi a disposizione per poter descrivere Judi, e quindi adotterò le parole di qualcun altro, di Oscar Hammerstein, il quale ha detto: non c'è niente al mondo come una dama, neanche tra le cose che ciascuno di noi più uno ama, c'è niente come una dama.
Grazie mille.
May I ask the producers if it was also the director of your dreams, Charles Dance?
Vorrei chiedere una cosa ai produttori, ma Charles Dance era il regista che sognavate?
Director, definitely, cast of dreams, and indeed a crew, which was a dream.
Grazie. But of course, we would like Dame Judi Dench to invite our audience to watch the film.
Quindi chiediamo a Dame Judi Dench di invitare il pubblico a vedere il suo film.
This is the first time I've seen the film. It's the first time you've seen the film, and I hope we all enjoy it. Thank you for coming.
Beh, è la prima volta che io stessa vedo il film, così come è la prima volta per voi, e spero di cuore veramente che il film vi piaccia.
Grazie. Thank you very much. Judi Dench, Charles Dance, e i produttori di film Ladies in Lavender. Thank you.
So, this is to celebrate the opening of the 50th Taormina Biennial Film Fest.
Grazie, grazie mille. E cominciamo adesso la proiezione di film Ladies in Lavender. Grazie.